What's going on, Fins fans? It is your boy Dillon, and I'm here to do my recap for the Hard Knocks episode that just aired tonight, episode 6. I actually just got done with my, live stream that I've been doing these past few weeks. And so here I am for the recap. Let's just jump right into it. So, I think the first thing is, we've seen over these 6 episodes now that there's a pretty generalized format. They do go in chronological order, kind of start earlier on in the week, right? They go through the week, they lead up to the game, they show you the game. There's meeting room stuff, there's the individual position groups, meeting rooms. Then there's the big team meeting room. They go through, you hear some of the speeches. There's a lot of like little snippets from practice, and we generally get to see some of what they're working on for celebrations. You get snippets from the game. You get some features, like specific players and stuff like that, right? So obviously we know that that's the generalized format of how these episodes go. And obviously it was just the same in this one. Starting off with, the speech that Mike McDaniel gave at the beginning, telling them to, basically saying, we're going to build off of what we just did, because he talks about how, in the Titans loss or after the Titans loss, they were super hyper focused on the Jets and, bouncing back and all of that good stuff. And they did, obviously. And then, he basically then said that, I'm paraphrasing, obviously, that they are going to take that momentum, carry it forward into this next game. Every game is going to be crazy. The atmosphere is going to be crazy, right? Everything obviously gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Like I said, still paraphrasing, but that's the gist of it. And of course, and that's what it is. This is the sport that they play. This is the life that they live, right? And so, and it's absolutely true. And it's good that he keeps them, focused, and he keeps them honed in. Because every game is massively, massively important. And then of course, they go throughout the week. They showed a lot of, gift giving. There was, Tua, he gave out to the other guys, and there was a scene where the quarterback room was giving out gifts. Dan gave isotoners to everybody. I mean, come on, Dan. Mike White gave Dan, Marino that is, obviously. He gave Dan a bottle of wine. Tua gave everybody else in the room, the other quarterbacks or whatever, and the coaches, golf simulators, which was really cool. And he was super excited about it. He came dressed in like Christmas pajamas and shit. Obviously, we know Tua loves Christmas. So obviously you get to see a lot of that stuff in the meeting rooms and whatever leading up to it. Christian Wilkins bought the team a gang of donuts earlier on in the week. I guess maybe it's kind of like a thank you and a reward and, whatever kind of sort of thing, which was cool. As far as the features, they did feature Raheem Mostert a little bit more towards the end of the episode, and his family. They got to go into, they went into his house for Christmas morning, and, his kids opening presents and stuff like that. And they talked about the win over the Cowboys being, a Christmas present to the fans and stuff like that. What else? Who else? Kader Kohu and his family, which was cool to see. And he speaks French, and I don't remember if they actually said it. I don't recall hearing it, but I don't know if they came from France before they moved to the United States. I think so, maybe, but he said his first, I'm assuming so, because he said his first language was French, although it doesn't necessarily mean so. Could have come from places in Canada, places in, Africa. There's all kinds of places you could come from with having anyway, point is though, that was cool. You got to see his family, and it was the first time they went to the game, and it was the first time they got to see him play in person in his professional career, which is really cool. Apparently, his dad was a little torn and we saw this a lot, and I mean the same thing with Tua and his family. They were Cowboys fans prior to, but Mama Kohu, although that's not her last name. I forgot what her last name was. But Mama Kohu was like, no, Miami. He's with Miami now, so we support Miami. And that's right. That's right. I mean, I get it, but that's right. Anyway, so that was cool. They also kind of featured the equipment staff a little bit in this episode, which I think was cool because we got to see how they made the uniforms and stuff. And I like it too because another reason why is because you heard Tua in one of the episodes a couple episodes ago where when he was talking to the grounds crew who takes care of the field and lays the field and stuff. And I think that is cool. And it's like he said, man, we don't appreciate enough the people behind the scenes, all the little people, because to run an organization, a football organization, to run a stadium, there are so many people involved in that, right? Starting with the people who built it, the construction workers, the planners, the architects, right? And then people who work at the stadium, right? The ticket takers, the people who sell the tickets in the box office, and the people who work at the stands and the concessions and stuff, right? And the merch stands, and the referees and the camera crews and equipment crews and training staffs. There's just so many people involved. Parking lot attendants, right? Just all these different people. And, you got to herald them all because they're all part of the organization. Now, of course, they don't really have anything to do with the product on the field, most of those people, but still, they all help make the engine churn on, so I do like that stuff. And then, of course, obviously, you get to see a lot of the behind the scenes and everything like that, right? So obviously, and then apparently before the game, the speech that he gave to the team was, I hope this shit comes down to the last minutes and in the fourth quarter. And apparently the team pushed back. It was like, nah, we want to kick their ass, which I get. But it was cool, though, that it did end up. I mean, McDaniel, the fucking prophet, man, he just keeps putting shit out there and it just keeps happening. But they came up big, Tua with that drive, man, to really seal the game for us, a game-winning drive there, right? Like, it was beautiful to see. What else? And then, obviously we know after the game, he tells the guys, look, we're not done yet. This is, we still got a lot of work to do, and keeping the guys locked in. But he's like, this is what it's going to be. Every single game from here on out. That's the kind of atmosphere it's going to be. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be electric. It's going to be wild, right? And he's right. And you love to see it, though. And it's just a beautiful thing, man. I'm just trying to think because what else was there? I mean, we had the features. We had Raheem Mostert, the equipment staff, Kader Kohu. What else was there? Obviously, I mean, they did one of the other things that I don't want to forget is the celebration. They didn't get to it, unfortunately, because they tried to do it after their lone touchdown, the Mostert touchdown, the touchdown pass. They tried to get to it, but they didn't get everybody organized in time to do it, so they kind of bailed on it. But it was actually a pretty cool one, and they were going to do this like Christmas Carol sort. We got to see it though in practice, which was cool. So they were going to do like a Christmas. We actually got to see it done though. We got to see the planning earlier on in the episode, and then we actually got to see it done at the end. And it was a Christmas Carol kind of celebration, but where like two guys stand there and they pretend to be the door to the house. And then one person comes up, knocks on the door. There's another person that when the door opens, the two guys, open like it's a door. And then there's a person standing there. And then there's a bunch of other people that are standing there to be carolers. And then they do like a little singing thing with one guy going like that, like orchestrating it. And then they break into like a dance or whatever at the end of it. And it was really cool. So it was kind of a shame they didn't get to that, but it is what it is. Let's see what else. I mean, we talked about, the presents, the donuts, Dan Marino being in there. I mean, yeah, I've said it consistently each and every time. I love the way we get to see these behind the scenes interactions. One of the things that I loved was he had a one-on-one with Kader Kohu, Mike McDaniel did during one of the practices. And he's like, look, man, if there's ever a time where, things may be kind of or kind of meh, and, you feel like you get inspired to say something or jump in or get people, like, doesn't necessarily have to be rah-rah, but, whatever, feel free because this is your team too. And that's one of the absolute things. And that definitely, especially the past couple weeks and especially getting to see some of these behind the scenes stuff with this team. Look, guys, we have our coach, man. This is our coach for now and the future. And we found our guy. We found our guy. You gotta, like, I don't know. I don't understand. It would completely blow me away. Look, there's still a lot more football left to play this season. And we'll see how things turn out the rest of the way. But for him to be in his second year, this is second year of his scheme. This is first year of Vic Fangio. There have been, a lot of adverse moments, a lot of injuries, so many things, right? But they've just continued to overcome and persevere. And it's just been a wonderful thing. And I love how the culture that he has set in this organization. This is the kind of culture that we've been needing for such a long time, right? Where he's a player's coach, but he's also a leader of men, and he really connects with these guys, and he does it, I think, better than absolutely anybody. I mean, Mike Tomlin's actually an example of like an old school head coach that's been around for a while that's kind of like that. Not quite to the same degree as Mike McDaniel and not quite the same style and approach as him, but, from that philosophical standpoint of being a player's coach, but also a leader of men, right? And Steelers fans, I think they should hold on to him for as long as they possibly can, because it's hard to get a coach of his caliber in this league. And to this point, he's never had a losing season. And this season might not be any different. Even if they only get 9 wins, I mean, 9-8 is still a winning season. So, and to have the kind of resume that he has, is just, it's unseen in the NFL. So I think, fans of the Steelers should cherish him as long as they possibly can. It's not and to kind of, juxtapose a little bit, it's not like Bill Belichick, who has taken the Patriots and driven that organization completely into the ground after losing Tom Brady, whereas post Big Ben, he's still done pretty damn good things with that team. The defense has still been great. They're still very disciplined. He's still never had a losing season, et cetera, et cetera. So still always at least fighting for the playoffs. So anyway, I think Mike McDaniel is our coach of the future. And I think that Dolphins fans really, if you haven't bought into that at this point, I don't know what else the dude needs to show you. Even if we don't make it to the Super Bowl, and even if, we only get a single playoff win or whatever. Like, I know the expectations for Dolphins fans at this point are just absolutely through the roof. And your hopes should be, for sure. I'm not so sure if the expectation should be. I mean, look, I think they're going to make it to the Super Bowl. But at the same time, I'm not going to also then flip the switch if they don't make it to the Super Bowl or whatever and be like, oh, well, we need to like fire this guy or anything like that. I think if any Dolphins fan got to that point, they would just be completely out of their fucking mind. And frankly, there were fans that were saying shit like that after we lost to the Titans. And I can't fathom it, because I don't know. I'll tell you what, I'll tell you this. If Dolphins fans ever get to that point, and that then ends up happening, another team is going to pick him up and he's going to have a phenomenal career. And then Dolphins fans are going to be left wishing and wondering what could have been. I'm telling you, man, this is our coach. This is the coach we're going to have, and he's going to lead us to championships. And it very well may even start this year. So let's buckle up. It's going to be a fun ride. I'm super pumped for this upcoming game against the Ravens. It's going to be absolutely huge. It's going to be electric, like Mike said in this episode, talking to his team. I'm pumped, man. And, I've mentioned a couple times recently, I'm struggling right now personally and financially, especially because I haven't been working the past few months. So just another real quick, if anybody knows anybody within this industry or whatever that could, I'm looking for jobs just about any way I possibly can. I live in a small town in the middle of nowhere in Southern California. So it's kind of hard. I've been looking where I can. I applied for a janitor job, didn't even get that. But anyway, I digress. If anybody knows anybody within this industry, because this is really what I want to do. So in the sports media world or whatever, I'm, down to do just about anything, producing, video editing, writing, content creation. Like, I'm down. This is what I want to do with my life. So if I could, it would be amazing. And I need a job. So there's that. Also, if you do like my content and everything, because I am trying to grow my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, the like button. Leave comments down in the comment section, all of that good stuff. Share my channel and videos with your friends and family. With that, I am going to get out of here. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. And fins up all day, every day. Let's go.
7 seconds left. Tannehill will throw it. And this will end it after the shuttle. Miami runs around, circling, and the down. Gronkowski did not beat it. Touchdown. Daniels Ray. Oh, miracle. Miraculous in Miami. Stills to Parker to Drake. And they held off the field. Unimaginable what has taken place here in South Florida. The Dolphins have done it. They keep their season alive. 69 yards. Wow. Pure joy. Miami wins it.